Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today with a very special guest, a Cuban American, 28 years old, supported by Tiesto, Diplo, Valentino Khan. He's played stages like EDC Orlando, collaborations with the Jersey King 4B, has shared stages with 4B and Gordo, and has released not one, not two, but three songs on the label of the biggest DJ in the world, Martin Garrix. We're here today with Miami's very own Mikey Barreneche.
Let's go.
Thanks for being here, man. I
When you
appreciate
say that, I can't even believe that I did all that.
It's crazy, right? When I was typing it out, I was like, damn.
It seems like everything, like when you're just going day to day, you don't realize it until someone says it. And it's like, oh.
It happens quick, bro. I'm sure it happens quick. And I feel like when I was getting this together, I was reading the resume, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, damn. Me and Mikey go back like, what, 4 years?
Yeah.
And it was
when
before all
we
of
first
this.
connected. Yeah, none of that had happened.
I think the biggest thing that had happened at that moment was the, and correct me if I'm wrong, release on 4B's label.
Yeah, that happened like the first year, the end of the first year that I started making music. I released a song on his label for like a Christmas compilation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that was like the first memory I have of ever looking at my phone and seeing an email like, oh my God, like I just got my song signed.
Something's happening. Yeah, and whenever we were talking about that, it was around that time, and I was trying to make memory like, okay, how did I even connect with Mikey? And I remember the way it happened was I used to send mass DMs on Twitter sharing
For
my
real?
music. And at that time, I had maybe like 1,000 followers, but it feels like a lot when you're sending a DM to every single one of your followers. And I remember you were one of them that I would send them to.
So I was already following you?
Yeah. I remember I was sending those DMs. I sent it out, and obviously a lot of people would be like, "Man, fuck off."
I did that before too.
and I don't blame them. But then I was like, you know what, bro? I just need a small percentage of people to listen to my shit and get feedback, and I'm good with that. And you were in that small percentage of people that were answering, and I was like, dope, this guy's cool, man. Like, I fuck with this shit, and he's a cool guy. Like, he's checking out my music. He doesn't have to, and giving me feedback. But whenever we would talk, you would transmit this confidence whenever we would speak. And it was before all these accomplishments. So my question is, where does that confidence come from?
It comes from just growing up playing sports.
What would you play?
I played baseball growing up. I played like the earliest days. I played baseball, then I was playing football and baseball, and then I stopped doing both because like it was just too much. Like as a 7-year-old kid, like I would be going to football practice and baseball practice on the same day. And I started to like lack in baseball, even though I loved both sports. So my dad he took me out of football. He was like, let's just focus on baseball. And then like, I think originally I got my confidence from him. Like I remember even at 5 years old, I literally thought I was the greatest player ever. And I had I was good, but not like the best even in the park.
But that mindset was already developed at that point.
For some reason, it was already there. And like even my dad, I remember specifically coming home one day, like telling me like, yo, like you're not the best player out there. Like he had to humble me. And I was like, oh shit. And then like from there on, like just always being on a winning team, I think that helped a lot. And naturally, like I would just practice and I'd want to always be the best. And I think as I got older, I realized like I still had to work on it. Like it's not like you could just stay confident forever. Like especially if I'm going into a new industry, like you had to work on it. So in college, when I started playing baseball in college, like I would say 50% of the work was mental. Like we would work on our confidence, work on how do we walk, how do we react when we fail, how do we react when we succeed.
Win.
So the biggest thing is like you become confident by just sticking to your word and doing what you say you're going to do, to put it in the simplest form.
And I know you say you started doing baseball, it seems like at a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, those habits all developed and led into something great. I'm sure the confidence just started increasing as you were getting older.
Yeah.
Was the dream initially to be a professional baseball player?
Yeah, I would say it was until like I was maybe like in middle school. Like at middle school, I was like, okay, like I'm not gonna be 6 feet tall. Like even and at that time there wasn't like a Jose Altuve playing for the Astros that's 5'8".
Yeah.
Like there was maybe like one guy my height in the major league. So I'm like,
It's hard to believe it.
it
a
was
little
kind
more.
of like a reality check early. Sometimes I wish that I didn't have that mindset. The only thing I wish I would have done differently was that I had the mindset I have now because it's stronger now. So I wish a little bit I would have just been like, no, whatever. Like I could do it if I really put my mind to it. But I have no regrets. But I forgot to mention about the confidence thing. I think the biggest thing with confidence too is like the more you're prepared, the more confident you are. So when it comes to music, by the time I step on the stage, I'm like, this is easy.
Yeah,
Like I practiced it so many times.
Yeah, it just feels like a repetition at that point. So it leaves very little room for mistakes to happen, which I feel like I agree with you.
And I'm prepared for the
you're
mistakes.
Exactly. The better you are prepared, the better confidence you have. So
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. At what moment did you feel like, okay, you know what, the baseball thing is not going to be a thing? I know you say in middle school, but at what moment came in to be like, okay, you know what, now the dream is
music. My sophomore year of college, when I was at a music festival, and then I saw Headhunters play, and from that second, like I was already into EDM for like 2 years, and at that second when I saw him, like I just switched. Like I want to be a DJ. Like I knew I was just going to college to play baseball, and like that's where my career was gonna end. But I thought I was gonna go into business, like open up a gym, do any kind of business. I've always been into business, and then at that second I was like, it's music. Like that's gonna be my business. That's my career. What he's doing looks so fun, and that's what I want to do like forever. And like even at that time, it's like the little kid delusion popped into my head again. Like I swore to God, like I was like, I could play Ultra like in 4 years. Like there's no way I'm not going to. Like I truly believe that, which is stupid looking back on it. But I think it's good to have like a little bit of delusion.
I agree, and I feel like that same delusion, it helps to get farther than what it would have been if you didn't have that.
Yeah,
Because I'm sure it helped you develop in baseball. I'm sure, like you say, you know, it was a delusion you had as a kid too. It helped you probably be better than most of them because you had that, and then you transmitted into music. And maybe what could have happened in 10 years, you brought it into 4 years.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I feel like that it is a good thing to a certain way, but I feel like it helps whenever you apply it into you know what you're doing.
I think it's still good because it's not like delusion to the point where like if somebody tells me that's not gonna happen, or it's not a delusion to the point where I'm treating other people like assholes. Like I'm still like grounded at the same time.
It's like inside, you know, it's like on your roots, like what you believe
like
in.
if you tell me I can't do it in my mind, I'm like, I want to do it even more now.
Yeah, hell yeah. No, and I feel like that helps you, like I said, get farther than others. And it's been seen with your career. I mean, when did you start doing the music stuff? At what age?
I started DJing at 20 years old. And then after college was done, I was 22. And that's when I started producing.
What was your first? So you started DJing first?
Yeah.
So what was your first gig?
My first gig, yeah, I was like, so after that summer, after my sophomore year of college, that summer, I had maybe DJed like in my friend's backyard, like
house parties?
2 to 3 times. It wasn't even like parties. It was just like 10 friends,
kickbacks
type shit. Like it was like that. So then so I was in a junior college, and then I got recruited to a Division II school in South Dakota. And when I get to the school, right across the street from my house was a sign that a club was opening up, which had never happened there before. So I'm like, dude, this is crazy. Like the first time I get here is the first time they're opening a club in South Dakota, and the sign outside said that they're looking for DJs. And I'm like, and it said 21 and older, and I wasn't 21. So
you were 20?
I was 20.
Oh shit.
So I was like, oh God. So like I would call them and they wouldn't answer. So then I went one day, I knocked on the door and they answered. And I talked to the lady, it was the owner, she was there. And I probably pitched to her for like 10 minutes why I should be the DJ and why I'd be the best. I told her like, no one's gonna work as hard as I will. I'll do it for free. Like the only thing is I'm not 20. And I told her I had been DJing for like 5 years in Miami. When I had it, And she called me back the next week, and she's like, "You're gonna be the resident DJ from Friday, Saturday. Like,
Oh
you play open to
shit.
close. Like, we'll pay you minimum wage. Like, we're not gonna make you do it for free." And that
Hell
was like
yeah.
one of the best moments ever. Like, I was so happy.
Hell yeah. So did you feel like that was your first step into the door of like the DJing thing, even if it wasn't? Because I'm guessing if it was from start to finish, it was open format.
Yeah,
I'm
it
assuming.
was open format, but it was mostly dance music because that's what the
Oh,
club wanted.
nice.
So it
That
was
worked
a
out
different
perfect.
thing. Like, yeah, they didn't really want me to play hip hop. They were scared that like hip hop is gonna create like they were scared of having fights in the club because they're new to this. Um, which was
Just
fine with
wanted the
me because
pure
I wanted to
vibes.
play dance music.
Yeah, hell
So I was just
yeah.
playing bangers. Like if I were to go back, I would be much more open format. But in that time, my mind was like, I have to be like Martin Garrix. Like he's
Yeah.
playing this. I gotta play like this. This is what I'm known for. I'm an EDM DJ. Now I'm just like, I'm a DJ. Yeah, this is my music that I released. But if somebody wanted to book me for
Adjust.
an open format set, I'm like, let's do it. I'm down. Like that's fun. But back then, I was just so like, there was no like there wasn't so much of like I didn't know much about 4B. I didn't know like Diplo at the time. I don't remember if he was doing a lot of open format. Like it wasn't that big of a thing for an EDM guy to do that back then. So I was just like very hard headed on that. And that first night it was packed to capacity, and I was
Damn.
nervous as hell. And then the second night I was like, okay, it's either gonna be emptier or it's gonna be more full. When I pulled up, it was even more full.
Damn. And so how long did that residency there last?
It lasted that year, and then the summer came. I came back the next fall, and it only lasted till that fall because it was tough. Like the managers were new.
Didn't
It's
work
like
out for him.
I can't blame them. Like they were new to it. I was, you could say I was new to it. I knew more about the club culture than them. If we could go back, I think we could do it better for sure.
This time around. So at that moment you weren't producing though.
At all.
Nothing.
No, I wasn't even that good of a DJ. I mean, like I just started, but to them, the people I was playing for, they were like, "This is the best DJ I've ever seen."
Hell yeah.
So like, but I made so many mistakes there, like crazy
But I think that's
mistakes.
the best part to do the mistakes. I mean, I feel like it was
Yeah.
a early stage on, and it's like I feel like a lot of times people want to focus on having a perfect career,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just not gonna happen.
No.
The mistakes are gonna happen, and it's just like the way I see it is just get them out of the way, man. Like let's
Right.
get there. Like whenever I
Yeah,
want to
for
start
sure.
something new, it's like, bro, let me get the mistakes out. Like I'm looking forward to the mistakes because I know after that it's just uphill from here, bro. Like
Yeah.
it's like everything's just gonna be smooth. I'm gonna know how to handle this, and that. So I feel that's a good thing. There was a early stage on being able to do those mistakes. At what moment did you go from okay, this is cool, I'm DJing, this is fun, but I want to make my own stuff now. I want to produce.
I always knew I wanted to make my own stuff from the beginning. I didn't have the time yet. Like going to school, playing college baseball was already doing those two things was already a full time
Time
job.
consuming.
Then I was doing DJing on the weekend, and I also worked at Subway during the weekdays. So it
Oh
was like,
shit.
dude, I'm waking up like at 5:30 in the morning every day to work out, come back, eat, take a nap, go to class, go to practice, go to a meeting for
Man, you were
baseball, go to
hustling.
Subway, and then on the weekends, our games
Residency.
were during the day, and then at night I would DJ. So it was crazy. There was no way that I was gonna be able
Produce
to put
music.
time into making music, and I was scared for it to affect how I played, and it eventually did. My senior year, it was like I knew this is the end for me, and I still worked hard, but I wasn't putting in a lot of the extra work like I had been my whole life.
You kind of had just seen the end of it, or you just kind of like, let
So
me
it
just
was
stick it out.
I still loved it, but it was like I know what I'm already gonna do after, and my focus was already going towards music.
To stop consuming your energy and your time so much then
Yeah.
senior year. So when it came down to the producing side, that's a whole other journey. DJing itself is one journey, and it's a great journey, but producing is a
Hmm.
whole other thing. A lot of people open up. What are you on FL Studio, right?
Yeah.
Open up FL Studio, and they're like, man, like I don't know
Yeah.
how you even make this work. Like, how could you even do certain things? Where did you learn how to produce?
Everything from YouTube. So like I opened it up and I'm like, all I've ever known is Serato. I felt like I knew enough about that already. So I was like, okay, let me open up FL Studio, and it was just like, yo, to be honest, like I would open it up, close it, open it up. Like I'm like, where do I even start? That was the biggest thing in the beginning. I don't know where to start. I don't know the terminology. I don't know anything. So then the first thing I did was I tried to read the manual of FL Studio. I don't remember anything from it now, but I read it. Like I don't think I finished the entire thing, but I was reading the manual. I was like, okay, let me learn FL Studio first before learning how to make music, and then let me learn the terminology. What's a kick, snare, clap, everything, and then I was just like, I didn't know where to start, so I was like, let me just start with anything. So I was like, oh, I found a video on how to make buildups. I would literally just make like 10 buildups and no song.
Yeah.
Oh, let me learn how to make drops of whatever genre, and I would learn how to make it. And I didn't have songs; I just had parts of things.
Whole bunch of build-ups.
Yeah,
Whole
right.
album of build-ups.
So then, like, I was like, dude, how the hell do I make like a breakdown? Like, it was so hard. And then eventually, like, I learned how to make full songs. And then once I made the full songs, then it was like mixing and mastering. And then I would mix and master everything by myself because I couldn't afford to pay anyone. And then I learned how to do that as well. And
this is at what age?
But even before I got to like finishing songs, like to be honest, it like put me in like a little bit of a depression because like I was like, it was so hard for me that it was discouraging. I was 22 at this time, and then I would stop and I would play video games. And bro, I never play video games. Like that's like something I would do like on my free time before I even started making, like before I even started DJing. Like after baseball practice, my day is done. Oh, like fuck it, like play GTA like for fun, whatever. Like I've never been like a gamer, and I was just like playing like MLB The Show, like, and I am the entire time like I know I should be making music right now because it's either that or I'm living under a bridge. Like that's how I see it. Like it's this or nothing. So like it was super depressing, and then I would say like after a couple months, like I just snapped out of that, and I got the momentum, and I started learning enough to make full songs, and then from there, like immediately I just started releasing them. And
so then do you feel having the knowledge from, and correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I understood, there was no music theory behind this.
No.
Having the knowledge of knowing music theory is needed for producing, because a lot of people will think that, because I've been told from people that are DJs and they love DJing, but they're like, yo, I want to make music, but I don't know how to play an instrument, this and that. I personally didn't know how.
Yeah.
So this day, music theory is very minimal for my knowledge.
Same.
Do you feel it's important then to have?
I think if you know it, it's super beneficial, because I think I see the difference between the people that they say like, I don't know if you know who Ari is. He's a trance progressive house producer. Like he's like classically trained, everything, all this. He knows everything, and it's like this dude just shits out the best melodies ever. Like it's not like, it doesn't even look like he tries. But for me, it's like I know what notes I have to play to stay in whatever key the song is, and that's about it. It's not like I know if I'm like I don't know that much music theory at all. Like I'm kind of just getting by.
And look at how far that's gotten you. So I feel like, I mean, the music theory could help. I mean, I'm sure it does accelerate the process. But I mean, I don't feel it's something that, personally, I don't think it's something that should stop producers that want to make music from doing it.
Yeah, Audion is, I think he said that he barely like really knows music theory either, and he has like some of the best melodies too. So
some of the biggest hits.
And some of the best, like the biggest hits, period, have the most simple melody ever. So it's like, I could do that. Technically.
Yeah. And so now we fast forward, you're 22 at this time, you started producing. What was the big first producing moment for you where it was like, yo, this is like a win, like I'm actually doing something producing wise now?
It was probably the first time my music got played by another DJ, this guy named Crime Family in LA. And then the second big thing was 4B playing a remix I did of one of Carnage's songs. He played it like in Asia somewhere, and like I found it. I knew he downloaded it, so that was already big for me. And then I saw a video of him playing it on Instagram, because he posted an Instagram story of him doing a shoey. Like, you know what that is? Yeah. Like you pour beer inside the shoe and you chug it.
Oh,
and my remix is playing in the background, and I'm like, oh my god, that was like that kind of like started everything, because before that no one had ever like supported my music, so it's kind of like I had like no credibility. And after that happened locally, I feel like I got a lot more respect. Like now it's like, oh, 4B plays his music, and now it's like people looked at me different, and I felt it when I walked in a room.
More value to the name.
Yeah,
The name weighed a little bit more. So 4B was your first support then.
yeah, which is crazy.
That's
It's crazy.
insane. So at that moment, I'm guessing you had sent him your music. He
Hmm.
downloaded it. He plays it, and now you fast forwarded a day. And from what I've seen, you guys are pretty close. You and
Yeah,
4B. So how does that feel going from like, yo, this is someone that I looked up to. I was sending him my music, and then
yeah,
he played it out, my first support, and now
yeah.
it's like, yo, this is a homie. Like
It's
that's the
crazy.
homie.
Yeah, I would say out of any big DJ that I'm in contact with, I would say that he's actually my friend. The other people are just like acquaintances.
That's the
So
homie.
it's wild. It's wild. Like I think I just relate to like a lot of things that he does and his style. Um, and I think maybe he kind of sees that in me as well. Like he sees that like the style I like to play is how he plays too. I feel like we have a lot of similarities.
Makes it easy. The
Yeah,
chemistry's there.
yeah,
So 4B, you go from sending him music, now you guys are homie, and then you guys play EDC Orlando together. How was that?
yeah,
Was that your first EDC?
yeah. First time I ever played a festival. That happened because the collab that we made together, like we had already made like two or three, but this one was the one that really stuck, and the label wanted to sign it. Insomniac.
Which was louder, right?
Yeah, louder. And then so EDC is rolling around, and he's like, yo, EDC is asking me to close the Corona Beach stage, which is the Hard Rex stage that day, and that's Hard Rex is like where our song came out with Insomniac. And they asked me who I want to go back to back with, so I'm bringing you. And I'm like he told me that like on we were doing like a demo feedback Twitch stream together, and he told me that, and I was like, nah, I didn't believe him. Like I did, but I was like, yo, that's some crazy shit. Like
here, bro?
this is like other than Ultra, like this is my dream festival right here. Like I go to EDC Orlando every year, and then
It's in your hometown, right?
it's 3 hours away from Miami. So then I remember like getting the offer and the email, and I was like, wow, I can't believe this, because one, I'm playing like my favorite festival, and two, like he's my favorite DJ. Like we've never played together. We played the same shows, but never together. Like bro, we didn't practice nothing. We just said, all right, like this is the song that we're gonna play first, which was my song. I was like, yo, like I can't believe this is happening, and then we'll play louder in the middle, and then we'll close with this. And that's how it went. And then like the chemistry was like automatic. Like there was literally a point in the set, because like if you're going back to back, I'm like, oh, let me see what BPM that is in. Boom. There was literally a point where there was a song playing. Since I have two CDJs, he has two CDJs here. He's playing a song, and I'm loading one up, and he's loading up a second one already to play after me. And I looked at it, and I'm like, bro, we loaded up the same exact song. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy.
The chemistry is real with you guys then.
So it was easy.
Was that your first festival?
Yeah, bro.
Damn.
So it was like
I think that's the dream.
Complete dream come true. Like I remember going to that stage and being like, yo, like I don't care. Like I should be playing already. Like I know I deserve this already. Like whatever. When it happens, it'll be the perfect time. And it was like I got to fucking close that shit, instead of like my first time being like at 2:00 when no one's there yet.
Yeah, because that's usually the way it goes. You start getting the at least from what I've seen, you get the smaller crowds when it comes to like the early set times, and then you kind of work your way up from there.
Yeah.
You went straight to closing.
Yeah.
And with your favorite DJ.
Yeah.
As a back-to-back.
That's not nervous. And like people ask me like if I was nervous, and I'm like, not at all. Like
it's kind of just a feeling. I'm assuming this because whenever I've played certain places, the nerves don't kick in because it'll feel like this is where I belong.
Yes.
Do you agree?
The only thing I get nervous about stupid shit, like, damn, is anyone gonna show up tonight? Or the only thing I was worried about, and like he knocked it out early. Like we're because like the green rooms are like in the stadium next to the where the festival is, And I told him like, yo, the only thing I'm scared of is you going like into like the trap and dubstep too much, and I run out of music like that because I'm not even up to date on that kind of music anymore. He's like, bro, don't even worry about that shit. Like, I already did my thing on the main stage because he played on the main stage earlier that day, and like, you trust me, you don't have to worry about that. Like, I'm gonna follow you. And I was like, all right, let's go.
Hell yeah! So that even worked out better.
Yeah.
So after EDC Orlando, I see you're still playing more places out with 4B, and then I see that you play in the Brooklyn Mirage, right?
Yeah.
That's how you pronounce it, the Brooklyn Mirage, and it's under the Stampede Records show.
Yeah.
How was that experience like?
Crazy. Like, I saw that they announced the show. Like, I already built a relationship with them, obviously, because I had already 2 songs with them. So before that Brooklyn Mirage thing even happened, like during Miami Music Week, they announced a stamped label show at this club called Story in Miami, which was like, bro, that's like my home. Like the club that I go to at home, that was the club since I was 20 years old. Well, I wasn't even of age yet. Like, that was the club I went to every weekend. That was the club where I saw any DJ that comes to town when I was new to EDM. Like, oh, I've never seen this DJ. I'm gonna go watch him. Like, I would go and I'd be like, God, I can't wait to be up there. I can't wait to be up there. So I saw that they announced that show at Story, and I'm like, no way. Like, they didn't have a lineup yet. I'm like, fuck it, bro. I'm gonna hit them up. I texted them. I texted the label guys like, yo, what do you guys think?
You had already released with them at this point?
Yeah, okay. I had already 2 songs with them.
Okay.
So I texted them and I'm like, hey, what do you guys think about having me on the stamped show at Story? They're like, oh, let me see what I could do. I think that's what they said. I think the next day they're like, all right, we're gonna have you on. You're gonna play right before Martin Garrix, and I'm like, holy fuck! Like, I just looked at I was at my girl's house and I was like, I fucking did it. Like, I'm playing at Story. Like, holy shit! Like, that to me was as big as EDC.
You wanna go change your pronouns on your bio?
I think I did that. When did I do that? I don't remember when, but it might have been before that when I did the back-to-back. I think I did before that when I did the back-to-back with Gordo.
Oh, because you also did that with Gordo. You also played the show with Gordo, right?
Yeah. So I think it was
your show though, right?
Yeah.
And you had him as a special guest?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I had like, it was pretty much like my biggest headline in Miami to date. In a club that I've been wanting to play at called Le Rouge, and earlier that day I saw Gordo post on Instagram. He was like in Wynwood, like that's like a little city like in Miami where like all the parties are at right now. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna like shoot him a message, like, because he already follows me because of the show I did with him like earlier that year in LA. So he already knew who I was, and I'm like, yo, pull up, fuck it, like what I got to lose? What, he doesn't respond? Okay, whatever, fuck it.
Back where we started.
I don't care.
So you were shooting your shot. It seems like with these opportunities that have been big, you were shooting your shot.
I'm shooting my shot.
That's important.
Closed mouths don't get fed.
That's important. See, and I feel like a lot of times from other artists that I've heard that are trying to make it happen, they kind of wait for the door to be knocked rather than go knock the door. And it seems like the difference here is, I feel like if you wouldn't have reached out to Gordo, he probably wouldn't have been like, hey, let me swing by on Mikey.
If nobody's knocking on my door, I'm gonna come bust through theirs. Like, and like I said, I told him like, yo, pull up. He writes back,
Addy.
Oh, what time? Where? Text me. And I'm like, oh shit, it worked. So, bro, I'm pulling up to the show. I pull up. I'm in the green room. Like, the club is packed. I'm like, wow, like that already to me is a success because I know when I get on there, like, I'm gonna murder it. All I'm worried about is if there's people there. And then I forgot about that completely. Like, I forgot that he told me that he was pulling up. So, like, no, I think I gave him my number. That's what it was. I gave him my number. I was like, yo, just text me when you're here if you have any issues. Because I don't know, maybe the door guy doesn't fucking know who he is. And I'm not trying to have that. Like, hell no, you need to let him in. So I get a text from a number that I don't have saying, yo, I heard the tickets are sold out. Can you get me in? And I'm like, who the fuck is this? Because that's kind of like a message that I might get. But I knew it wasn't sold out. I'm like, what? And then I'm like, oh, this is Gordo.
Sorry, bro, no guest list.
I'm like, oh, this is Gordo, and he's like fucking around, and I'm like, oh shit, like he's pulling up, and bro, like I promise you, like 10 seconds after that, I forgot about it again, and I just put my phone in my pocket. I told him,
answered
oh, I think I put like, yeah, I answered him. I think I gave him my manager's number or something. He didn't need any of us. He I think he just walked in, like somebody there he
Just
knew
fucking
or whatever.
with you.
Yeah. So then I'm playing and mid set, like I said, I forgot again. My manager comes up to me. He's like, Gordo just pulled up, and I'm like,
Damn.
I see him walking in. I'm like, oh my god, bro. I don't know what was wrong with me that day. I forgot again, like that he was even there.
Yes, crazy.
Until the door, like that club, it was like a circle. That's where the booth was, and the club was everything around us. Until I feel the little door behind me open, and it's fucking Gordo with his big ass chain that shit's shining, and I'm like, what? Yo, everybody in there just starts like roaring, taking out their phones, and I'm like, what is going on right now? I'm like, yo, what's good? He's like, yo, I had to. He already knew about that nickname too. He's like, yo, I had to come see him. And I was like, yo, this is funny as fuck. And like,
well, here I am.
Again, I'm like, fuck it. What do I have to lose? I'm like, you wanna play? He's like, oh, I'll play a song. I'm like, that's good enough for me.
Shit.
He plugs in his USB. Everybody's phones are going up. He plays his song with Fade. It was unreleased at the time.
Damn.
And I'm like, yo, holy shit. I play my next song.
That's huge.
I see him loading up another one. I'm like, let's go. He plays an unreleased of him and El Alfa. And I'm like, yo. And we just kept going. We kept going for the last like 30 minutes of my set.
Oh, so he played more than 2 songs?
He just went back to back with me for like the rest of my set. And then it was coming close to the end. And literally like the support DJs, there was one more set after me. Like, so they could just like close the night. And they literally came up to me and were like, yo, we don't care. Like you guys could keep playing and take my set. Like, I don't care. And I told him, that's crazy. And I told him, but this was like the weekend after he had like a whole controversy of where he played too long, and these DJs were like trying to like expose him for like going into their set.
Oh, I think I heard something.
So I told him, and he started laughing. He's like, no, I'm not
good.
falling. He's literally said like, I'm not falling for that again. And I'm like, I feel you. Like you don't wanna,
get it.
You don't want to take any chances. I don't know exactly what happened in that other situation. I wasn't there, so I'm like, fuck it. But you played with me already for like 30 minutes. Yeah. Like this, I remember like that set ending, and I went back to the green room, and I just had to like put my hand on my head. I'm like, what just happened?
That's
like what the fuck?
Because that's one of the GOATs, bro. I mean, I feel like Carnage, what he's done. Well, now Gordo, what he's done for the music industry is huge for the dance music industry.
Facts.
And right now, he did crossovers way before a lot of these EDM DJs did it. He was.
Facts.
Tracks with Migos and Gordo,
Uzi, A$AP Ferg,
all of these guys. And now he's in the reggaeton.
Yeah.
And as a Latin artist,
100%,
you see him and you're like, it's possible.
Exactly.
Like I could do it.
I never felt like I couldn't do it just because when I got into it, it was like pretty much like all European guys besides Diaro and Carnage, but I didn't. At the time I didn't even know what Diaro looked like. I knew a lot of DJs, but I didn't know what like Nicky Romero looked like, Diaro looked like, a lot of guys. But I knew Carnage was like one of the people I liked the most, and he was the first person that kind of like I told myself like, wow, like I could be who I am. I don't have to be like
Pretend
a Tiesto or something. I don't have to be like them, even though I take things from them and I like their style. I could like be. I relate more to how Gordo is. I'm Latin. I could be polarizing. Like my opinions could be strong. Then people might not agree. I'm very confident in what I do, and I show it. Like, fuck it, I'm gonna just be me. And he was like the first person that showed me like I could do that. And like he's kind of like brings like that hip hop culture to dance music, and I listened to hip hop my entire life until like college. So it was like I felt the same exact way.
You're the Cuban version of
yeah.
Yeah, no, I have a lot of respect for Gordo, man. I feel like he's done a lot of great things. They love him here in the RGV. He did a free show here. He did. Yeah,
I remember.
Damn,
I only know what RGV is because of him. I only know what El Paso is because of him.
Because of him, yeah, bro. He's loved in Texas. So that happens before the whole Martin Garrix show, right? So you play before.
Then the story thing happened in my music week. Then I saw that they announced Brooklyn Mirage, Martin Garrix 4 nights in a row. So I'm like, oh shit, like, fuck it. I'm gonna reach out again. I texted the guys, yo, what do you guys think about having me on one of the Brooklyn Mirage shows? Yo, we'll get back to you. That one kind of took like a week or two, and then they hit me up. They sent me the email with the offer, and I'm like, dog, holy shit! Like I'm playing Brooklyn Mirage. Like that was like one of the most professional like venues I've ever seen. Like they conducted it like a concert. And fast forward, nobody even knows yet. But I told you before we started this, I just did that same thing again. I saw the Stamped show was happening in ADE in Amsterdam, and I'm like, fuck it. They've come through every time. If they tell me no, they tell me no. Yo, what do you guys think about me coming through to Amsterdam and playing the show? They're like, yeah, let me see what I could do. Hit me up next week. They
Like,
tell
yeah.
me, all right, we got you. I get the email offer, and I'm like, yo, like these guys have treated me so fucking good. Like shout out to Stamped 100%. Like those, like they've given me like some of the biggest shows of my life, and they also like people don't know this, but they are the reason why I had like the official remix for Becky G, because they brought it to me.
And that's where I was gonna go with that Becky G remix. It's huge, man. Congrats. It's amazing. It's, as a Latino, I feel like it's even a bigger win. Like I'm sure all these other artists that remixed it, it's a huge win for them.
Yeah.
But us as Latinos, it's like, bro, this is what like our family listens to in the car, in the radio, like Becky G, you know, like this is what they keep up with on like the news, like artists like her. And then it's like, oh, then you get a remix hit. And it was because of Stamp.
They asked me to like her label came to them looking for house remixes, and they're like, he's probably like perfect for it. Like I already do kind of music like this, and I'm like, of course. Like I couldn't believe it when I saw the text. Like obviously they started to approve it and shit like that, but I was already like blown away that they even brought that opportunity to me. And then when it got approved by her team, I was like, wow, I can't believe it. I honestly didn't believe it until I saw it on Spotify.
How did it feel, like having the stems, the vocals, that cappella of Becky G, like literally there in your computer?
It was wild. I listened to it first, just the acapella.
For a whole hour, just had it on repeat.
It was hard to keep that news in once I already knew it was approved and I made the song.
I bet, bro. That's huge. But I'm happy the way things have played out for you. It seems like, you know, if any producers are taking notes on this, is shoot your shot, man. You know, have that confidence. Be a little delusional, because it'll help.
Be a little delulu.
Yeah, you got to be. And shoot your shot. Shoot your shot, because
100%.
For example, all these opportunities that you said have been probably very huge moments in your music career.
Yeah.
And they all came because you did it.
Shoot a good shot. Don't just shoot into the air.
Yeah.
Because
no air balls.
If a kid that I've never met just hit me up right now asking me to play my show, I'm going to be like, who the fuck are you? Like, I don't know who you are. But if we already have a relationship, if I'm coming to your city and you ask me that, like, you wouldn't have to ask me that. I would already be trying to do it. But it's literally like if I was coming to your city and you asked me, or if you were in my city and you asked me, whatever, yo, would you be able to get me onto this? And whether it's a yes or no, like, that's a good shot to take, because like we already have a connection. It's not like if you don't have a connection with the person, I don't know if it's the right move.
Yeah, make sure y'all on the same court first.
Literally,
shoot
like
the shot.
Don't be shooting a half-court shot. Shoot a 3-point.
Make sure it's in the range. You're in the good shooting range.
Because sometimes, a lot of times, people ask me shit that I'm just like, damn, like you're kind of putting me in a position to like, I have to not respond, because if I say no, I'm gonna look like an asshole.
I'm gonna look like an asshole. Yeah.
And like, it's like, damn, like I can't remember an example right now, but it happens a lot.
Yeah. No, and I mean, it's a lot of times I feel like it's people that you could tell, for example, in all of your situations, there was a reason why you shot your shot. For example, Stamped, you already had releases there.
Yeah.
With Gordo, he was already supporting you. With 4B, you know, it was stuff that was already people that you already built those connections with, and genuine connections. There were all people that it was just like, you know, it makes sense to shoot my shot in this.
Yeah.
So now, what's next? I know you say, nobody knows about the ADE thing?
No, ADE's next. ADE's next.
You heard it
and
here
I'm
first,
just dropping.
Folks. ADE, Mikey Barreneche.
2023.
First time in Amsterdam?
First time ever.
First time out of
First time playing anywhere outside the U.S.
Hell yeah.
And other than that, just dropping music every month for the rest of the year, and I'm not stopping. I'm just putting my foot on the neck.
Foot on the gas. And
Yes.
next festival that you want to shoot for?
Ultra.
Ultra?
That's the
Ultra
ultimate
Miami
goal.
or any Ultra?
Ultra Miami. That's my dream goal is Sunday close Ultra Music Festival. And
I see it.
Looking at the buildings.
I see it. I have never been to Ultra, but I think that'd be a good excuse to be pulling up
Hell
to
yeah.
go see Mikey close the stage.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to do this, man. I'm very happy to see all the success that has happened. You're not only a very good producer, but you're a very good human being. And when people like that get into environments like the music industry, it's very easy for them to get lost in the sauce sometimes. And even all the accomplishments that you've had, it seems like you're still very grounded, very down to your roots, and at the same time very focused on what's next and where you're going to go. So I'm sure this time next year that Ultra thing is going to be happening already.
Oh my god, I hope.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
brother.
That concludes today's episode, very first episode of Geezuz on Air. Mikey Barreneche. Where could everybody look for you on social media?
At Mikey Barreneche everywhere. MikeyBarreneche.com.
Pronouns him.